Have you ever felt like life is just one storm after another? No matter how hard you try, everything seems to be falling apart? But what if I told you that even in the darkest moments, you have the power to stay positive? Let me share a story with you. A story that might just change the way you see tough times. Once upon a time, in a peaceful village, there lived a young man named Arjun. Arjun was hardworking, honest, and kind-hearted. He had inherited a small piece of farmland from his father, and through years of dedication, he turned it into a flourishing source of livelihood. His crops provided for his family, and he felt proud of his efforts. But life, as we know, is unpredictable. One year, heavy rain struck his village, leading to a massive flood. The raging waters swept away everything in their path. Arjun's fields were destroyed, his home was damaged, and his savings, which he had carefully built up over the years, were gone. The once thriving farmland was now covered in mud and debris. His heart sank as he realized he had nothing left. Frustrated and heartbroken, he sat by the river, staring into the water, questioning his fate. "Why me?" he whispered. "Why does life test me like this?" He clenched his fists, feeling the weight of despair pressing down on him. Just then, an old wise man who lived in the village approached and sat beside him. He had watched Arjun grow up and understood his struggles. The old man said, "Arjun, let me tell you a story. Many years ago, a great king ruled a prosperous kingdom. One day, a terrible drought struck the land. The rivers dried up, the crops withered, and people grew desperate. The king's advisors panicked, urging him to act quickly. But instead of succumbing to fear, the king remained calm. He gathered his people and said, 'We cannot control the drought, but we can control how we respond to it. We will dig deeper wells, store the little water we have, and plant crops that can survive in dry conditions.' Months passed, and while other kingdoms suffered greatly, this kingdom endured. When the drought finally ended, they emerged stronger, having learned how to be resilient." Arjun listened closely, his eyes filled with curiosity. The old man continued, "The lesson here, my son, is that problems will come and go, but your response to them decides your future. You can either give up or adapt and grow. Every hardship carries a hidden opportunity. The question is, will you see it?" Arjun sat in silence, absorbing the old man's words. He realized that sitting in despair wouldn't change anything. His father had always taught him that the land is only as good as the hands that tend to it. He took a deep breath and decided he wouldn't let the flood define him. Arjun got to work. He borrowed seeds from a friend, used whatever little savings he had left, and started planting again. He worked tirelessly from sunrise to sunset, experimenting with different farming techniques, learning how to improve the soil, and ensuring his land became fertile again. The villagers, inspired by his determination, offered their support. Some helped him rebuild his home, while others shared resources. Slowly but surely, green sprouts began to appear where there was once nothing but mud and despair. Months later, his hard work paid off. His fields were lush again, and he had more than enough to rebuild his life. Not only did he recover, but he also became wiser. He understood now that life will always test us, but it is how we choose to respond that truly matters. The secret to staying positive wasn't about ignoring hardships, it was about believing in his ability to overcome them. Life will always have ups and downs. You might face losses, failures, and setbacks. But remember, tough times don't last. Tough people do. You can choose to drown in negativity, or you can stand up, adapt, and move forward. The storm will pass, but what you do during the storm defines who you are. Arjun's story teaches us a valuable lesson. Focus on what you can control, not on what you've lost. Because in every challenge, there is a chance to grow. He could have given up, but instead, he chose to fight, to rebuild, and to emerge stronger. And so can you. So, the next time life tests you, ask yourself, what can I do to turn this around? And when you find that answer, take action. Because staying positive isn't about ignoring the bad, it's about believing that something better is on the way. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And remember, no storm lasts forever. Keep going, keep believing,